Well, sure enough, the Beatles surprised us recently with the last song, as they say. Um, this is Now and Then, a song written by John in about 1977 that actually thankfully, I was familiar with it because of an album that I have here called Free as a Bird, the Decoded Demos. And this is back in the days when, back in the days, this only came out on CD, but it came with a cool book with a picture of John's on the cover. Probably can't see it too well here from the distance away here, but I'll make a better shot of this for everybody. Yeah, picture of John playing the piano on the back. And this was a bunch of his piano demos, that three of which got passed over to the other three Beatles in the mid '90s when they were working on the anthology project. And of course, they put out Free as a Bird on the first one and Real Love on the second one, and they couldn't finish this, as you probably know the story, so I'm not going to have to go, I won't go too far into it. But they could not separate John's voice from the piano, and he had some really unusual key changes in there. All of a sudden he went to F sharp minor and G sharp minor, not the keys, but using those. So this is clearly an experimental thing. But he did have a lot of he had the lyrics written, and he had the main progression, basically a verse and a chorus. And but it's still certainly a work in progress as far as John was concerned. But thanks to Peter Jackson and the technology they developed for the Get Back documentary from a few years back, they were able to separate John's voice from the piano, and Paul could replay the piano parts, and Paul also added a slide part, kind of reminiscent of George in there. And the chord progression is really simple. What we're going to do in this, anyway, it's a fabulous tune. I wasn't so thrilled with the video. It was a little too modern. Too many, the old clips of John goofing off while they're singing this very serious, beautiful song was a little distracting. But the song, fabulous, pure Lennon genius in chord progression. Relatively simple with a couple of little unusual changes, and then when they added the orchestra, they added some unusual timing, some strange phrasing, put a little solo in, starting on a D minor chord. Anyway, I started working on this a couple of days ago, and it was just so much fun to play through the melody and do the what you just heard me play there at the top. What we're going to talk about, though, in this lesson is, first we're going to take just the campfire approach to how to strum the song and understand what the chords are. I've seen a few people already playing it with not the right chords. Very reminiscent of the chord progression to And I Love Her. in terms of the opening chords. But so we're going to take a look just at how to strum it and sing it if you want to do that, and that's going to be really easy. You're just going to have to be able to play an F chord, although we're going to use F major 7. Even though that didn't come out on the piano, the melody has the note that makes it major 7 in it. And then I will talk about the solo arrangement that I did there. Now, I'm not tabbing this out note for note, but I will talk about how to put together something like that by just finding the melody and playing it and combining it with the chords or the chord progression, and then filling it out. So at the end of this, I plan to go into how to do the instrumental version, or an instrumental version similar to what I did there, because every time I would play this, it would be a little bit different. Anyway, that's what's coming up. First we'll talk about the chords, almost the campfire version, and then the arrangement, and then we'll talk about making it a solo.